So, if you're a leader right now, you are smack dab in the middle of the AI revolution. And you're seeing both sides of it, right? On one hand, there's all this excitement from your teams about new tools and efficiencies. But on the other, you can feel the anxiety, the worry about being replaced, the skepticism about new ways of working. Your biggest challenge, especially in fields like sales and support where that human touch is everything, is navigating this tricky balance.
Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to break this down into 5 key parts. We'll start by digging into that tension you're probably feeling, and we'll wrap up by looking at how your own job as a leader is about to completely transform.
All right, first things first, let's put a name to the problem. It's something called the human AI paradox, and it perfectly explains why your team might be using AI tools all day long, while at the same time not really trusting them. And this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at this data. A whopping 93% of professionals are already using AI, but only 38% are actually confident that it's making their decisions any better. That huge gap, that's the disconnect you are managing every single day. Widespread use, but super low trust. And let's be real, managing that gap puts an incredible amount of pressure directly on you. You're expected to push for innovation, but you're also managing your team's fears, not to mention your own uncertainty. It's no wonder we're seeing this rise in what's called manager emotional exhaustion. It is absolutely draining being that bridge between the tech and the people.
So, how do we actually fix this? How do we resolve that tension? Well, the key is to completely reframe the entire conversation. We've got to shift the focus away from fear and squarely onto opportunity. This quote from Kareem Lakhani at Harvard Business School just hits the nail on the head. This whole thing isn't about humans versus machines. The real story is about empowering your people to be the ones with AI, making them more essential and more valuable than they've ever been. And this right here, this is the mindset shift you have to lead. You've got to guide your team away from that left column, where AI is a threat that just automates jobs, and over to the right column, where AI is a partner in crime, a collaborator that helps us do things we couldn't do before. We're moving from versus to plus.
A really helpful way to talk about this is to think of AI less like some all-knowing God that we summon for perfect answers, and more like a ghost that we're building ourselves. It's a tool that learns our habits, our patterns, and helps finish our sentences or draft that first pass of a sales proposal. It's really just an extension of us, not a replacement for us.
Okay, so once we get that augmentation mindset locked in, we need a plan, a real actionable strategy. So this next part, this is your new leadership playbook for the age of AI.
Your new strategy really boils down to two main pillars. Pillar one, redefine the work. This means automating the boring, repetitive stuff so your team can double down on what humans do best: strategic thinking, creative solutions, and building real customer relationships. But that second pillar, cultivate the people, that's where the real leadership happens.
And the foundation for all of this is psychological safety. Your team has to feel safe enough to experiment, to play with these new tools. They need to know they can ask a dumb question or try something that doesn't work out, all without getting penalized. You simply can't have innovation without it. Now, on top of that safe environment, you have to build self-efficacy. It's a bit of a fancy term, but all it really means is a person's belief that they can do it. It's not enough for the team to feel safe. Each individual has to develop confidence in their own ability to learn this new stuff and actually succeed. And finally, with that safety net and that self-belief in place, you actively build resilience. Because look, this transition is gonna have some bumps. An AI tool is gonna spit out nonsense, a new process will be clunky. Resilience is your team's superpower to bounce back from those setbacks, learn from them, and just keep moving forward. So we have the right mindset and the psychological framework. Now let's get down to brass tacks. How do you actually put this playbook into practice, day in and day out? A super powerful tactic here is what's called the human in the loop model. This is where you let AI do the heavy lifting, the data crunching, the first drafts. So, for your sales team, maybe an AI drafts a proposal, but your salesperson provides the critical strategic insight and personal touch that actually wins the deal. For support, an AI can diagnose an issue, but your agent delivers the empathy that builds a loyal customer. It's about collaborative intelligence, not blind automation.
And this is a really critical point. Even if an AI recommends a course of action, the ultimate accountability for that decision always rests with a human. Your team needs to understand these tools are powerful advisors, but they, the humans, are the owners of the outcome. You can't automate accountability. Period. You know, a company like Netflix gives us a fascinating glimpse into what this future could look like. Their whole freedom and responsibility culture shows you the amazing speed and innovation you can get when you empower people. But it also shows the danger. That model only works if leadership provides incredible clarity and context. Without that, freedom just becomes chaos and burnout. And here is a reality check that is just staggering. Despite how fast everyone is adopting AI, only 22% of companies actually have formal policies for it. That means most managers, and that probably includes you, are being forced to navigate this whole new world without a map. You're having to make up the rules as you go. Which brings us to our final, and maybe our most important part of this conversation. Because this transition doesn't just change your team's work, it is fundamentally transforming what it means to be their leader. To lead through this, you have to become what people are starting to call a regenerative leader. And that just means you're committed to your own continuous learning, constantly adapting your skills and your mindset just to keep up with a world that's changing faster than ever. This new kind of leader really has two sides that have to be in balance. On one side, you're the analyst. You're tech savvy, you get what the tools can do and what they can't. But on the other side, you're the artist. You lead with empathy, you build trust, and you guide the messy human part of all this change. You have to be both. Now look, this doesn't mean you have to go learn how to code or become some data wizard. The best analogy I've heard is this. You don't have to be a mechanic to be a good driver, but knowing a little bit about how the engine works, that's definitely going to make you a better, smarter driver. So I'll leave you with this final big question to think about. As AI starts to take over more of the day-to-day tasks, the work, your value as a leader is going to shift. Your most important job won't be managing tasks anymore. It's going to be leading the thinking, the strategy, the creativity, and the ethical judgment that machines just can't replicate. That right there is the future of your role.